Hello, everyone. Just to get started, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Sarah Bishop-Root. I'm on the CourseSites team at Blackboard. I am the community manager, but have also kind of started my journey not just as a community manager of CourseSites, but also as we really launched our own MOOCs and experienced the whole process of designing and developing MOOCs and our own open course series. It really led me to being able to work with institutions that were thinking about implementing their own MOOC strategies on campus and evaluating using CourseSites as their MOOC platform. So I would like just to take a minute for all of you to enter into the chat where you're from, and also just, I think everyone knows what a MOOC is, but if you don't, please let me know. And then I just also kind of want to start out with a question about what you think the impact of MOOCs will have on the long-term roadmap for education. So if you would please just type in the chat, that would really help. And then also if you would just let me know what your objective of this session is today, where you are in your process at your institution, so I can really shape this presentation to meet your needs. And while everyone's typing, I just wanted to introduce you to a couple people who we have helping to moderate the session today, in addition to Marissa. I don't think she said her name, but that was Marissa from our community engagement team. And we also have David, who works with faculty as they adopt Blackboard technology on campuses, and Lauren, who is also from our marketing team. So all of those people will be available today to help you answer questions throughout my presentation or answer any other questions you may have. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll back and see who we have, and sounds like we have people from all over the United States interested in learning about what we have to offer. Developing online courses, open or free education and training. Great. So and then secondly, if people would just kind of add their comments as I start to move forward about what you think the impact of MOOCs will have on the long-term roadmap for education, just from kind of your observing of the space thus far. I would just be really interested to hear people's input and make this session more of a dialogue instead of me just presenting to you the entire time. Okay. So as I said earlier, CourseSites has had a bit of an evolution. Does everyone know what CourseSites is? If you would just give me a green check mark if you do, and if you don't, please give me an X. Okay, so we have several people here that don't know what CourseSites is, and we have some people that do. I'm going to go ahead and clear the responses because that kind of gives me an indication. So CourseSites is a free platform geared towards individual educators that Blackboard is providing for anyone to be able to access our tools and to experiment. We're also utilizing it as a way for institutions to have a change management tool as they're going through upgrades or wanting to check out new tools that are released. I'll go more further into the platform, but just to give you a little bit of background, that was the original objective of CourseSites. But as I mentioned earlier, my colleague Jarl Jonas and I, he's the director of CourseSites, and I really thought about, what it meant as a company to kind of enter the open educational space about a year and a half ago, and how we could leverage CourseSites not only as a free platform, but a way to reach many people and professional development opportunities. We launched our own series of open courses or MOOCs that were geared towards issues around teaching and learning online. And through that, our objective was to really create a place for dialogue amongst educators to really think about these topics and share best practices, and really kind of dig in and form community around important issues around teaching and learning online. And we have these courses still open and available on our MOOC catalog. So if you go to www.CourseSites.com/MOOC catalog, you can still enroll and experience them in a self-paced way. And even if you just choose to use them as resources, or they're all published as open educational resources, so you can actually export them and utilize them on your campus if you don't want to just utilize them as an open course experience. So there's many ways that you can reutilize the content of those courses. I'm just going to scroll back and see if there's any comments so far. Basic courses and popular tactics you have found. Okay. So it sounds like some of the questions that are coming up I'm going to address in the session today, so that's good. So these are just some indications of our statistics that we gathered from our two courses that we had. And our courses on CourseSites, you'll see kind of as we go through the different types of MOOC platforms, they really have our objective, I think, is to really align with what's actually what you have on campus, and so the experience is more aligned to that. So as you really think about your business model or your objective of your MOOC, it makes the most sense that if you're using Learn on Campus, and that's the experience a student might be having when they actually come onto your campus as a student, that they would have the same experience in a MOOC. So many institutions are utilizing CourseSites as a MOOC platform just because they've already adopted the technology. They want to align that experience, and they can easily, with CourseSites, it's very portable, so you can easily import your course from your campus instance into CourseSites and utilize it and modify it for a MOOC. So just to kind of, think about this idea of MOOCs, I always like to think back to Buckminister Fuller, who was a visionary in the 60s, an architect, and he really talked about this idea of scalability. And, thinking that kind of, as he kind of looked to the future, he really had this idea that, technology would be utilized to solve the problems of reaching large numbers of people. So I think it's just interesting to kind of stay grounded in the fact that this notion has been around, for a while, and that it's not really something new. So as we know, over the past year, there's been many MOOC platforms that have emerged, and I just like to kind of pull these in to kind of think about what differentiates CourseSites from platforms like Coursera and edX. When you really think about your pedagogy and how you're designing a course, what's happened is because Coursera and edX, they were designed for scale, so they're very instructivist based. They have some adaptive learning merged into the platform, but what I think differentiates us is we're really offering a wide range of tools, so that as you want to experiment with pedagogy and have the tools you need to meet your learning objectives, the diverse range of tools that's offered through CourseSites empowers you to do that. Whereas, if your institution uses a platform like Coursera and edX that's meant to, reach hundreds of thousands of people, then you're very limited in kind of the framework that you're actually going to be able to utilize. And I just think it's just very different kind of objectives of the course. I think we here at Blackboard are really interested in exploring scalability in a way that is relevant to what institutions will actually be doing in the long term as objectives, as business models change, as there's more restraints. So if we think of a course as 4,000 or 5,000 people, we can still really experiment, align the experience, but still have a quality course that's going to engage engage students, with synchronous components, with asynchronous components. And so all of those things, I think, is what, CourseSites really empowers the instructor to do. I'm just going to take a minute to scroll and make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay. So I would say that, when we think about pedagogy, with the MOOCs that we're having launched on CourseSites by institutions, I would say they're leaning much more towards, a constructivist framework where, there's many ways that a student can explore different content. The teacher kind of, facilitates the experience, but they're more on the side, but the learner is really in charge of the exploration and driving and constructing how they want to learn. And so I just kind of wanted to review some of the emerging business models. I've probably spoken to over 80 institutions at this point. On a weekly basis, I'm speaking to people as they're really trying to kind of work through, they're getting pressure from presidents within the institution or, different higher level decision makers, but the instructional technologists or directors of technology or even faculty are really wanting to understand kind of how this is going to fit into the larger roadmap of the institution. So I just want to kind of bring these in. Even on this slide, I don't have included some of the models we've seen emerge even in the past few weeks. The space is evolving so quickly. But I'll just, I think commonly see that institutions are interested in utilizing this framework as a way to extend their brand and to showcase online learning curriculum and faculty. I've been speaking to a lot of people who are very interested in utilizing it as a way for lead gen, as they're seeing a lot of institutions are seeing that their enrollment numbers are down. This is a great way to kind of think about how to give people a way to experience maybe a course within a program and then, kind of use it as a way to funnel people into the program itself. And then, of course, research, I think, is really important. And, as we think here at, just through analytics and really being able to understand, I think a MOOC is just kind of a small slice in the larger kind of paradigm shift that we know is happening in education. And, how can we use this as a way to really reflect and think through quality of online learning and how we can improve it and how we can use these types of open experiences to really transform the effectiveness and outcomes of teaching and learning online. So I think, and that's really the key piece of this to us as a company, is that MOOCs are open education, but it's really not really any different than I think how we've been supporting our customers and our educators in any way. I mean, we're really kind of thinking it more of in a holistic way about how we can help facilitate the experimentation and provide the platform and really help support you all in how you're kind of trying to fit this into the bigger picture of the direction you're heading in your online learning programs. So I think, again, we don't necessarily have a crystal ball. I don't think anyone really does about how this is really going to, how MOOCs, how sustainable they're going to be, if they're going to last. I think now we're seeing that they are, there's so much different kinds of dialogue around as we have more and more experiences. But I think what we know is that, there is a paradigm shift happening, and this is definitely a piece of how that's going to happen and how we can really start to think outside the box about how we're transforming learning, and whether it's online or in the classroom, or thinking about reach and access, and I think just kind of creating more visibility into the online learning experience so we can really start to innovate around how to improve it is critical. So now I'm just going to talk. I'm going to actually take a pause and just see if anyone has anything to add. I kind of went through that fairly quickly. I see David is answering quite a bit of questions. I just want to point out too that you know, as a company, we don't just see this as, you know, we're really interested. We provided CourseSites as a free platform, but we see this more from a larger viewpoint of really using this as an opportunity to think about how we as a company can support scalability, not just now in a MOOC environment, but in the long-term roadmap for clients. We see that as really critical. And I think also the quality component is interesting too to us. I mean, just, you know, how can you have scalability and merge that with quality and interactivity and really engaging students? And so I think all of those things just to the company itself is really important, and we're trying not to look at MOOCs as just an isolated experience. We're really trying to think about it kind of from a broader view of, you know, how we can really utilize this experience to support our institutions. So David, some of the platforms are working with, you know, using the experience to help match students to jobs. So that's just kind of a model of job placement, and they are, you know, just as a student goes through the experience and excels in a course, they've made partnerships to place people in, you know, help place people with people looking for potential employees. Okay. I think I've covered everything. Questions so far? Okay, so now let's dig into what CourseSites is and how it can be utilized as a MOOC platform. So I'm actually just, as I kind of mentioned before, CourseSites was designed for the individual educator. So I think what that's done is it really creates an easy experience for anyone to go in, set up a course, invite students, and facilitate kind of the adoption process of the tool. We provide training, we have our own support, so it just really makes it easy. And there is not, you know, a system administrator that's kind of in between you and the platform. So you can just go in and get started immediately today if you want to. So, you know, our goals are, you know, to really think about, you know, open access to anyone, and also, you know, supporting change management. So whether you use CourseSites for your MOOCs or just to experiment, it's a really great place to go in and have access to the latest and greatest Blackboard technology. And, you know, if you just kind of want to do some of your own experimentation outside of your own on-campus, you know, platform, CourseSites really provides that easy open access for you to engage in. So to kind of explain how CourseSites is created into a platform and what powers it, this kind of slide shows you that it's powered by Blackboard Learn, which is we always are on the latest and greatest release within 30 days. And we offer mobile, and Blackboard Collaborate is integrated. We have a limited access to Collaborate, which is 50 people per Collaborate room, and you can't record. But for MOOCs, we are working with institutions to provide them a Collaborate room through the extent of their MOOC experience. We also offer Blackboard Connect for Learn, but that's also limited to the people within the United States for now. And then, you know, as you see to the right, we've also, just as a result of our own experiences with MOOCs, what that really did was gave us some insight into what we needed to do kind of outside of the core platform to really start to think about how to make it more compatible for open experiences and large-scale courses. So we have, you know, social sharing tools integrated. We have every instructor that signs up or institution that signs up gets their own URL. So we've used those URLs to create more of a aligned branding experience of the institutions to the CourseSites experience. You can choose to either change the course to self-enroll, or you can send invites to your students. You can upload an Excel document and invite students that way, or they can request permission to join the course. We have Google Docs integration. As a result of our MOOCs, we realized we needed to integrate a blog feed because a lot of people thinking about openness wanted to not have to go into the course to see new blog posts, so that's a pretty cool feature. We enhanced our roster so that people who, in a MOOC, an objective is definitely to be able to connect with community and to build, connections with people across the world. So we enhanced our roster so it makes it really easy to find people and favorite people within the course, and also share your social network links. A key differentiator between us and other platforms is that you can publish your course as an open educational resource if you want it to be reused. And we worked with Creative Commons to come up with a correct Creative Commons license to put on those courses when they're published. And then we also have partner tools available for free. Like we have a partnership with SoftChalk. We have a partnership with McGraw-Hill. We have a partnership with Respondus, and Wiley Plus are all available in CourseSites. So as I mentioned earlier, when everyone, when you sign up, you get your own instructor page. But what we're doing with institutions as they're launching their MOOC initiatives is we're utilizing that page to brand closer to the institution's branding. And if you, would like to do something like this, then reach out to me directly, and our designer is actually helping create these pages. So this is the University of Illinois Springfield's page. They just had a MOOC end on the Emancipation Proclamation. They use their logo and images of their campus. And if you want to kind of see this in person, you can go to uis.coursesites.com to check it out. But I just wanted to provide an example. Another approach we had was FIU actually took a very programmatic approach to their MOOCs and launched, I think it was 3 at once, but they just extended a page on their website and really created this nice page that had the link and kind of a pop-up for each course that said the course description, and it linked directly to the enrollment page on CourseSites. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what different institutions are doing. David, the website I mentioned was uis.coursesites.com. But you can actually see all of our MOOCs and links to their home pages, their institution pages, on coursesites.com/MOOC catalog, which I'm just typing in the chat. You can go there, and we have almost 30 courses listed at this point from different institutions, and we have more to come. It's really kind of exciting to see the diverse range of course topics that are being listed. We have a combination of, institutions that are actually, kind of implementing a more organized approach, and then we have individual instructors who just want their courses up, kind of aside from what their institution is doing or what platform they're using. So, there's the idea of this is that we want open access for anyone to be able to create a MOOC, and we really want to empower. We feel that everyone has something to share, and it should not be an elitist experience. And CourseSites provides you a place to do that, and we're really excited to get to work with people in different ways. And we've been actually working very, very, very closely with people with institutions as their instructors, as they design and develop their MOOCs. And so know that we are here for you as a resource, and we're more than happy to work with you as you're kind of thinking through this. So I'll scroll back to my email that I shared at the beginning of the the presentation, or maybe David could enter it into the chat again for me. But please reach out to me directly if you're thinking about working through building your own MOOC on CourseSites, and I will be more than happy to work with you. The other great thing is, as I mentioned before, that we have designated support for CourseSites, and that's definitely as institutions are thinking through whether to use their own instance or not. And actually, I just want to remind everyone that a couple of years ago, Ray Henderson, the president of Learn at that time, announced an extended policy that we would, it doesn't go against the cost of the platform to use your Learn instance on campus for professional development opportunities. So that really opens up the possibility for people to use their own instance of Learn for MOOCs. We've had a lot of institutions that are kind of evaluating the best approach to take, but I think that the good thing about CourseSites for many people is that it doesn't, it's not, it doesn't, I think there's concerns about the SIS, and it's a little more complex and adds a little more burden on the system administrator to have to manage MOOCs and people outside of the institution. So CourseSites is a great place that it's hosted by us. It's easy to use. It's you can have unlimited students, and we have our own support, which I think is huge. So our support is available 7 days a week by phone or by email or by chat, and you can easily call in, and also it's available to students as well. So I think that's been a big benefit for many people as they've launched their own MOOCs on CourseSites. So I've pulled in some other kind of screenshots of some of these. So this is our support page that I was just talking about. But I've pulled in other screenshots of some of the features that I showed you earlier, and I just kind of want to go through them next. I think one powerful thing I should mention just about CourseSites in general is, we've built a community of 500,000 users at this point. We have over 65,000 instructors, not necessarily all active, but when MOOCs are launching, we send out an email to our instructor community letting them know that that these MOOCs are coming up. So we're trying to support marketing as much as possible, and we're just kind of really leveraging our network of Blackboard community to really get the word out for you. So I think that's kind of another benefit of using CourseSites, and also working with institutions on press releases, and I think it's just been a great collaboration experience between us and those that are launching MOOCs on CourseSites. So as you work through your own kind of plan, and if you choose to use CourseSites, let me know as well how I can support you in those types of ways. So this is just a screenshot of the first MOOC that we launched. It was taught by Dr. Kurt Bonk, who's a professor in the Instructional Systems Technology program at IU Bloomington, and that's actually the program that I'm working on my master's in instructional technologies. And as I mentioned earlier, he led this course on instructional ideas and technology tools for online success. And I was involved in the design and development of this course, and I think as we were designing it, approached it from a very idealistic standpoint that learners would be self-motivated, and people would really be empowered to kind of choose their own way of learning. But what we found out of this was that people really do need a more prescriptive experience, and that that really kind of impacted, I think, how we designed the next course. We found that the orientation was very critical. I mean, I think just with any good, good course design, just, even with scale, that all the same kind of concepts really apply. That, just having that week 0 where you're really allowing people to orient themselves with the course and setting expectations. And we've created orientation around tools that we decided to utilize in the course as well. All of that was really, I think, critical for setting the pace for for the success of the course. And as I mentioned before, these are published as open educational resources, so you can just take the package and, if you want to use the orientation we use for our course and modify it, you're more than welcome to, or use whatever part of the kind of resource element of the course for your own, as you build your own MOOC. And you can find this one on the course catalog. And so this shows, and the menu was not this long. We just revealed each week as we went. So, we really try to kind of think through keeping the menu smaller for kind of best practices as well. And again, I think this is, from a kind of an instructional design standpoint, what I found, just working through these experiences is that, you can't really have an expectation about how many people you're going to have in the course or what the needs will be or kind of what impact. And so what we found was really critical was just to be kind of, instead of just thinking about formative and summative evaluation, that, evaluation was very critical throughout the entire course experience. And I think, for the first couple weeks on a daily basis, we were really in there observing and participating and hearing people's feedback and then, brainstorming about how we could adjust the course to improve the experience for the learners. And we ended up, as I had on that slide before, we had over 4,500 students in this course. And, I think it's just, you definitely take when you're creating a MOOC, it's like you're taking a risk to just kind of, try something new that's out of maybe your comfort zone, or I'll speak from my comfort zone, I'll speak for myself. And just from an instructional design standpoint, because I had never designed a course for so many people, but I think that, just realizing that you can fix things as you go and to improve the experience for people is really important. So this kind of shows you the relationship between the institution homepage, and this is actually the page we developed for our open course series. And you can see that you can pull in a blog feed onto that page and kind of give a description of your institution or your initiative. And then that page has its own unique URL and social sharing tools. So for, when you're trying to promote the course, you can take people to this page, institution page, and or your instructor page, and then it also lists all of the courses that you're teaching in the list under My Courses. And so under the My Courses list, when you click on the course itself, it takes you to the course homepage, which also has a unique URL, and it allows the student to learn about the course, and then they can self-enroll, or they could browse the course and see who the instructors are, and then also it will show you if the course has been shared as an open educational resource or not. And that's where, if you want to download the course, if it has been shared as an OER, you would just go directly to this page and you can download right from there. Any questions on how this process works before I move forward? And this is just kind of what I showed you, the relationship of how we just utilize the instructor homepage to, make it into more of a branded institution or initiative homepage. And, so if you're just an individual instructor, you can, create this page, which you see on the first, and then if you are an organization or institution, you can really align it with your own branding. As I mentioned before, we found that for MOOC experiences, the roster that's available on Learn, just it was good, but it just didn't quite meet the needs of kind of a large-scale course. So this is what I was talking about earlier, that it allows people can set up their profiles, and then it allows you can see the star by Kathy Chu's name. If you want to kind of keep track of a person in a large course, you can just click by their name, and it would allow you to favorite them, and that would move to the top under the favorites section, and then it allows you to search by institution or state or last name or country or you know, many different criterias and kind of sort in the same sort of way. So this has been a really great kind of improvement to how we've thought through, you know, in a large scale course, what do we need to do to make people more discoverable. And this is under the, you know, the tools section, just like any of the other tools that, you know, you would find and learn. Okay. And then again, we have a blog feed, which I think is really great as well for a MOOC environment that is again found under the tools section. So this is another really exciting piece of what we've done in CourseSites. Carrie, good timing, thank you. Awesome. So we in all of our courses have experimented with badging, and we formed a connection between CourseSites and Mozilla Open Badge Backpack. And so using adaptive release, when students, you know, for our courses what we did is we just wanted it to be the honor system because we didn't really have any formal assessments, but you could do it differently, that as people completed their requirements for the week and we gave them multiple options about what they could do or how they could engage to complete those requirements, they would, you know, click the mark review button, and then when all their requirements had been met, the badge actually automatically released to them. And then we created this seamless integration into Mozilla Open Badge Backpack that allows people to place their badge into the backpack. Now we've released, as a result of this actually experimentation, we actually released an achievements building block that's available to anyone on their own instance of Blackboard. So that's available now for, I think, the latest release of, it's compatible with the, I think, the latest release of Blackboard Learn. And you know, if you're on it, you could even use that building block on your own campus. But if you're you know, want to talk more about badging, please again reach out to me and we can discuss that further. Yes, thank you, David. Okay. And so, I mean, I think the other really cool thing about CourseSites is that, you know, as I said earlier, we're always on the latest and greatest technology, learn technology. So, you know, now we have tools like Video Everywhere, which for a MOOC framework is really awesome as we think about, you know, exploring different ways to engage students and to create a more personalized experience. Video Everywhere, is everyone familiar with Video Everywhere? Will you give me a green check if you know what it is? So we have a lot of people that don't. So Video Everywhere basically launches your camera on your computer and connects, it's a connection to YouTube. So as you see in the content editor behind this kind of image of this woman, you'll see the little camera icon, and if you click on that in the content editor, it launches your camera and the connection to YouTube, and when you accept the permission, it allows you to record a video right into the content area, and it allows you, as you see, browse. It allows you to build your own library of videos. So, you know, if you're a professor and you have, you know, feedback that you could give to several students, you could record that and then save it to your library and reutilize it. But I think it's just also another way just to really create more personalized interaction between everyone in the course. And also, it's stored on YouTube, and they're stored as private videos automatically. And then also we have all the, you know, social tools available now that are, you know, recently available and Learn as well. So this is just kind of a benefit summary that I'll go over before I stop and let people ask questions. You can educate unlimited students, which I think is really important, and I've gone over these other features, but you know, I think again, just the fact that, you know, it's really similar to what you're using on campus makes it a really easy, you know, platform just to kind of work on and easily adopt the platform. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and I kind of have another discussion question I'd like to I'm going to turn on people's, we only have 29 people in here, so I'm going to turn on the permission for people to actually speak. Turning on your audio now, so if anyone wants to speak up and answer these questions I have, I mean, we like your feedback, so if you have any feedback about what we as a company can further do to support your MOOC initiatives, or what also you feel like you'd like us to tell our executive leadership that Blackboard needs to do to stay relevant in these changing times in education, I would really like to hear from you, your thoughts. So please speak up. I really thank everyone today for joining us, and I want to reiterate that I am here to support you through your experience. If you just want to chat about MOOCs some more or what you're thinking, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to spend time, whether it's just kind of initial discussion or actually helping you with your MOOC strategy. It would be my pleasure. So thanks again, everyone. Please speak up with your questions or type them in the chat, and I'll take a minute as well to David, Marissa, did you see any other questions for me that I missed?
I did.
Please speak up.
Sarah, I just wanted to catch a question from Alyssa B. What was the max number of users in Collaborate sessions in CourseSites?
Okay, great. So the Collaborate room that's integrated into CourseSites right now allows 50 students in at a time. If you are if you're going to have a MOOC on CourseSites, we can get a Collaborate room for you to use during that duration of the MOOC, and you can have up to 1,000 students in the Collaborate session at a time. So the developed CourseSites MOOC available forever, or can it be deleted? Yes, you can make it unavailable whenever you like. You can export it out of CourseSites and upload it anywhere you want. So it's very, portability is huge. Any other questions? So a course can be deleted from CourseSites, Robert. You need to contact to support if you don't want to just make it unavailable. But if you want it completely deleted, just contact our support team and they'll help you with that. Alyssa, yes, so that's what the new building block that we have available. It's called the Achievements building block. That's exactly what that is. Robert, actually, if you just email CourseSites.support@blackboard.com and just tell them the name of the course and your login information, they will do it for you. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of questions coming in. So I think David just, yes, Carrie, the link will be public. And the other thing is if anyone here is from an institution that is kind of thinking through their own plan, I'd be more than happy. On a weekly basis, I'm giving these kinds of webinars to institutions if you want me just to work with your design team or decision maker team around questions they might have about CourseSites. As you're evaluating what platform to use, feel free to reach out to me. David, we've released the Achievements Building block on Friday already. All right. Anyone want to speak up? And the other exciting thing too, just around openness, is we will. This is a forward-looking statement, so I can't say definitely when, but we have the basic version of Explore available in CourseSites as well, the free version. So that will also allow you to publish learning objects as open educational resources into the repository, which is the cross-platform learning object repository that we're going to have coming out soon. Yes, so badge stack can be pricey to the individual institution, but is it free with CourseSites? So we're not using badge stack. We will have the achievements building block in CourseSites. I'm not quite sure about when we'll be upgrading, but I think it's going to be in the next few weeks. If you send me your, we'll send out an announcement to our CourseSites community when we have it in there, but if you send me your email, I can let you know our definite release date for the achievements building block in CourseSites. Is there a site that, let's see here. Any other questions? There's been so many. I think people could speak up on their microphone. That would be great if you have something that's been missed. Just click the talk button if you want to talk.